And then somebody decided, wait, we could make this more difficult if we made a, the letter that, or the number that's attached to x, a fraction, and let's make it a negative. This will be so fun. So we're supposed to be finding q, the y coordinate of the vertex. This is the formula they gave us. We gotta change it around. And it sucks, but we'll walk through it step by step. I'm sure we'll be fine. Now, we go through it to start with. Same as always, we're just going to write y equals negative 1/2 x squared, and then this happens. So remember that what we're doing when we're taking these numbers out is we're dividing. So I'm just going to use a little sketch over here. Negative 3 divided by negative 1/2. Well, it's going to be a positive number, for one thing. And if you divide by 1/2, it's the same as multiplying by 2, right? The reciprocal thing. So negative 3 times 2 is going to give me, times negative 2, it's going to give me 6. So this is actually going to change into plus 6x. Remember that we don't care about the 8. It just gets stuck out there. So if you have trouble trying to figure out how to get the fraction away from the x squared, that part's easy, but away from this second step, then just write it out separately and solve it that way. So you know that what you're doing is dividing this number by that number. That's really important to remember. All right, now that we've done that, it's actually pretty easy because we've got a nice tidy number in there. So we're just going to continue as usual. We would go y equals negative 1/2 is now reduced to just being outside the brackets and no one cares about it anymore. So I have my x squared plus 6x and something to make my complete the square. So I divide by 2, that gives me 3, square it, that gives me positive 9. Now I have to get rid of the 9 as well, which means I have to multiply that by negative 1/2. So not entirely gone, but close, and then that has to go out there. So now we've got y equals negative 1/2. I can take my x plus 3 out of here and use my completing the square. Still got my minus 8, and then I have minus 1/2 times negative 9 to deal with. And if I want to keep it in whole numbers, fractions, then I'm just going to have to turn these guys all into over 2's. So y equals, this is so redundant writing this first part out. Now it gets fun. I have to make this over 2 because this is just going to be, this whole part here is a negative times a negative, which is a positive. 9 divided by 2 is just 9 over 2. So just draw a little arrow. That's how that went. This guy's got to be over 2, so I have to write, well, what is he over 2? 16 over 2 would work. So we're going to go minus 16 over 2 plus 9 over 2. And so for our final answer, we have all of this stuff that we've been writing out, and then something over 2. So I've got minus 16 and positive 9, which should give me negative 7 over 2. Now, we've got the format set up. Remember that what we were looking for is q. So here is q. The vertical, or the y coordinate of the vertex, is negative 7 over 2.